All right, I am here with Jeremy Pope, the Pope of Loans. Hey, Jeremy.
Hi, Jennifer. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
Good. And Jeremy's with PRMG, and it is one of our preferred lenders. Now, Jeremy, the big question is like right now, all of our listings are getting a lot of offers. We're in multiple offers. But when
Of
I'm
course.
looking at these like pre-approval or pre-qualifications or like whatever, like what's the difference between pre-qual and pre-approved?
There is a huge difference between the two.
Okay.
But in our industry, I tend to find that the words are used interchangeably as if they are the exact same thing. You
Right.
won't hear people really say pre-qualified too much. At least I don't. You may have a different experience. Everybody's talking about pre-approved, but most of the people that are saying pre-approved, they're really not. They're really not.
Well, like, what do you mean? Because I notice, like, when I read the letters, it's like they haven't, they maybe have pulled credit. I don't know,
Mhm.
like, explain the difference. Because one of them I know is a lot more like somebody like that will be giving the money or approving the money has looked at it. That's what I need
That's
to know.
true.
Which one's that?
Gotcha. That's the good one, of course.
Yeah.
So in either scenario, credit needs to be pulled. I have no idea how you tell anybody that they are remotely even close to buying or not close to buying if you haven't looked at their credit report.
I think they called it 2006, 2007. They called it the what is it? The loans where if you fogged a mirror, you'd get a loan.
I refer to them as ninja loans.
Ninja loans. Got
No
it.
income, no job or assets. You
Okay.
didn't verify anything, so you're correct. Breathe heavy into the phone. Okay, you're alive. You can have a loan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad
Not
news.
today.
Bad
No.
news. No, that
All
doesn't
right.
happen today. So in either scenario, credit needs to be looked at because that is obviously a huge piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
When we're talking about pre-qualified, I think that is mostly what's going on in the industry, and it's being called pre-approved, but it's really not. Pre-qualified is, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Borrower, we pulled credit, that looks good. Let me have some pay stubs, some W-2s, and some bank statements. Work up some calculations, enter it into the file, run it through the automated underwriting systems, and okay, you're approved. You're good. You're good.
Okay.
That for the most part is going to work out, but there are situations where it's not because the decision maker, the underwriter, didn't look at it. It's the loan officer. So what you are gambling on in this case is the skill set of that individual loan officer. Some should be able to pre-qualify and 99 loans out of 100 close.
Because they know what the underwriters are looking for.
Yes, because a good loan officer should be trained to kind of pre-underwrite a file,
Okay.
and then know when a wacky situation is brought up that they should stop, not pre-approve anybody or pre-qualify them, and have it looked at by the underwriter to get that kind of final blessing on it, right?
Okay. So
So
that would be the pre-approved then.
pre-approved is when the underwriter is looking at it.
Okay.
And pre-qualified is when the loan officer is looking at it, maybe with a processor or something, maybe their sales manager, but it's not coming from the horse's mouth, which is the underwriter who's going to make the final call anyway. So yes, that's with it being so busy with the mortgage business right now, I doubt a lot of true pre-approvals are actually really happening.
Mm-hmm.
And also, a lot of people are very anxious to get out there and go home shopping.
Right.
I think now, it would take a couple days, maybe even a week for an underwriter to be able to go through that loan because there's no property address yet, right?
So they would have to like touch it again?
Yes. So what they do is they're going to sign off on the assets and the income and work history and that kind of stuff. So what they're going to do is issue a condition sheet that says, okay, I need a purchase contract,
Mm-hmm.
I need an appraisal, I need some homeowners insurance, like all property specific items, not so much about the borrower and their pay and their.
So then they wouldn't necessarily go back and relook at all those other things.
I mean, if enough time goes by, I think if 60 days or more went by, they'd probably, okay, I want some updated bank statements,
Okay.
updated pay stubs, make sure nothing changed. But other than that, you are correct. You should not have to go through like a full-blown pre-approval again, or an underwriter looking at it. With the volume where it is, you know, we're experiencing record low interest rates. People are buying houses, everybody's refining. So I know there's some banks, I'm not going to mention names, but I know there's some banks that have strictly said, until there is a property address, our underwriters are not taking their time to look at this. We don't have.
Yeah, but then we are taking our time to go show them properties, and you haven't even told us if they can actually buy one.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Well, yeah. Jeremy, fix it.
It'll get back to where every bank should be allowing these TBD approvals. When I say TBD, the property address is to be determined.
Okay.
I think we'll all get there again. We're still doing them. It's just not something that's turned over right away. So if the client wants to go, you know, home shopping with you tomorrow, to get a pre-approval is next to impossible. But that's where, you know, the reputations of these loan officers needs to be very important. Like that once our reputation, me and you as a real estate agent, once that is tarnished in the industry, you can pretty much hang it up and forget.
No, that makes sense. Well, I know in the past too, we've, because this is really true for the buyers and the seller side, right? Like if the seller has a lot of offers coming in, we want to look at these letters and say, you know what, who checked these things? Like, was it an underwriter or was it, and I think you're right, they probably interchanged the language. So it's probably really more about like actually reading what it says that they did.
Yes.
And then for the buyers, hey, I'm happy to like show you homes, but like, are you really
approved?
Yes. You know,
the problem, I don't know how a buyer accurately answers that question. The best advice I could give you is, as a real estate agent, would be to, you know, look at the bank on the other side, think about your past experiences. Look at the loan officer on the other side, think about past experiences. Maybe even call them directly. Hey, is this a pre-qualification or is this a pre-approval?
I do usually call and then use my judgment if they're like, if it's somebody I don't know, or I recommend like, hey, why don't we get like a second look or something like that. Just to be sure, because we don't want to, I mean, from a buyer's side, we don't want to fall in love with a property that you can't have. It's like looking for puppies and pretending like you're not going to take one home. Like you're taking one home, you know?
Yes, very true.
But don't you have something that you're working on to like kind of alleviate this fear of buyer? Because so many deals go bad because of financing. So don't you have something that you're working on? Give us a little teaser, Jeremy.
I am. Thank you. I don't have a rollout date yet. I'm hoping in the next 60 days. And you hit the nail on the head. There is such low inventory and so many buyers, low supply, high demand. You're getting into multiple offers. So how do we not only if you're on the seller side, we can put you at ease a little bit with what we're presenting. And if you're on the buyer side, how do we give you the leg up to beat out everybody else?
Right. Like shorten the process too, right?
Right. So you have all these people out there that are putting things in writing. These banks are saying this, they're saying that. I don't see anybody putting their money where their mouth is though, at all. So I'm going to put together something that is, now it has to be a true pre-approval. I almost did it right
You don't
there.
even know.
Oh my gosh, pre-approval. So an underwriter is looking at it. It's going to take a little bit of time to get the letter, not as quick as just me looking at it and using my judgment and saying they're pre-qualified. A little bit of time. I think it's worth it though. We're going to collect pay stubs, bank statements, W-2s, tax returns if they're self-employed, have the underwriter look at it. And if it goes down for one of those reasons, the financing falls apart for one of those reasons, which it shouldn't because we looked at it.
Right.
I will issue a certificate that comes along with the pre-approval. So you have the buyer, you submit your offer, you submit the pre-approval letter, and you submit a certificate that says if the deal goes down for A, B, C, and D, which are the things we checked,
Okay.
I'm giving the seller $5,000.
Damn, that's like extra earnest money.
Sure, yeah. I
is.
hope to never have to pay it out, but you know, that's okay because I don't see this happening now, and I think it's a great way to put yourself apart from the competition as a buyer.
Oh,
and
for
also
sure. Yeah, because if I
protect
was the seller, if I was able to present that to the sellers, say, hey, this buyer that we're working together, not only is this pre-approved versus pre-qualified, but if the deal goes down, you're getting $5,000, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, or whoever, right? Sellers.
Sure, sure.
Like, they're going to be like, if everything else is the same, they're going to be like, okay, I'll do that one.
Right, right. Now, there are some things in there that, you know, an appraisal kind of out of our control, you know, stuff like, or a seller lien that isn't theirs.
No, but it
takes
has to
time
be like a
researched.
financing-based thing.
Exactly.
I mean, that makes sense, right? Of course, like a logic. Wow, that's exciting. So when is that happening? Tomorrow? Today?
Oh yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. I'm hoping. We're looking. Well, I'll just tell you, we're looking for a second underwriter. We have one now. And with the amount of loans in her queue, I think we would push her over the edge if we try to do this right now. So looking for a second one. Once the second one is in place, they're not going to be spread so thin. Now we can throw these extra pre-approval loans into the hopper.
That's awesome. That's so exciting. Well, as always, it's very informative to have you on. We really appreciate that. And now we all know the difference between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval, and we're looking for a pre-approval.
Yes. Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Well, thanks a lot, Jeremy. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.